mean the game is boring to watch. That just means there are more fun characters to watch than them. But let's start with Swamp Thing. So Swamp Thing's quite an interesting starting point because we basically don't see him, and he's widely regarded to be bottom tier. But why is that? It's because his defense isn't amazing. Down one, he has a good down one, but you can't really get much off of it.
I would go as far as to say Swamp Thing is probably the least represented character in this entire game right now.
I think
no one is playing this character at all.
Well,
no one.
There's just a couple of points that kind of make that the reason. Like a big thing about him is kind of like his meter burn back 3 and forward 3 are super slow, so you can't use those as defensive options unless they're really sloppy with their timing. Down one combos into meterless shoulder, but if you meter burn the shoulder, it won't combo and it will drop. So you can't get that. You can get, you know, down one shoulder on meterless, but you can't meter burn it because if you do, it will drop.
But then we also have to talk about what will often set a character back and make them seen as not very good. Matchups. So the matchups that Swamp Thing has, what a lot of people are saying right now is that Swamp Thing, by his own merits, has some pretty good stuff. The issue is the current top tiers, the most popular characters, are all ones that seem to actually give him a little bit of
He's
trouble
almost like
as well.
Grundy 2.0. By his own merits and by his own tool set is not bad. It's just that the most common competitive characters we see, the Black Adams, the Aquamans, the Supermans, he kind of can't really do what he wants to do versus them. He does have interesting counter-zoning tools and obviously big damage and amazing mids and great footsies, good jump-ins and whatever. But there's just I think he just needs a couple of tweaks, right? I don't think he needs like massive, huge amounts of buffs. I think a couple of tweaks, like down one shoulder comboing would be great on meter burn, just so he has that threatening option of his down one that isn't just, you know, down one into tick throw or whatever. Also his character power. I don't know what I think. I mean, what have you guys seen on his trait that is like really like scary? Because all I've seen is when Decay will like corner them.
I mean, Decay is sick. With Swamp Thing, bear in mind,
he's got amazing tech with it. But like, you know, he'll condition you with a ton of mids in the corner to the point that you expect a special, and then he'll just go into the garden, walk back a little bit, and then you're cornered with that right in front of you. But realistically, we don't see it making too much of a difference. I don't know if his trait is kind of all that. I think his trait is his biggest downfall right now, because it's either we haven't figured out what to do with it yet, or it just isn't that good.
But either way, I think like before we move on, what he does well is good jump in twos, really strong, good range, good mids.
Footsies and mids.
Wake up game is decent as well, actually. Yeah. I think his wake up is quite strong too.
Yeah, of course. It's a launching wake up, right? And it's
Swamp Thing, I don't know. Like, I think he's good, but definitely I don't think he's top tier.
Supergirl, a very interesting one to move on to, because there are a few Supergirl players left.
I think she's underrated. I really do. I think she's got tons of utility. She's like a Swiss Army knife, but the knife is like half the size it normally is, right? Like, she's got all this utility, but the bit that does the damage, or the bit that hurts, isn't really as big as other characters, which means that she's very rarely going to out-damage you. Like, she has mix for days. Bear in mind, a lot of the mix that Supergirl has, she actually had in beta, and Sonic Fox was, you know, collecting heads with that character all over again, you know, all over the place.
Preston the Twit with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, man. Welcome to our community. Hopefully you enjoy your time here.
It's actually, we have Bailey1990 as well as Preston. Cheers, guys.
2 Twitch Prime subs back to back. Thanks very much, guys. Much appreciated. Bailey1990 and Preston the Twit. Welcome them, guys. Show them what emotes they just got. Spam those ketchup and mustard emotes. We want to see that for sure.
But yeah, so Supergirl is basically, she's got all that mix. However, her damage is really low. But that doesn't really take away from the fact that she is one of the most versatile characters in the whole game. So, I don't know. I think
even
that
then, it's not like she tickles you. And if she gets a combo off of like, if she confirms into Meteor Burn Teleport, then she gets like 400 plus. It's only when you go into the Meteor Burn Ice that it does low amounts. But that's like the safest and easiest thing to confirm into.
Well, we were in
she
Chicago.
Does get damage from other things.
PPJ showed us some... he showed us some good stuff, you know, with this character. Like, you know, this character's super...
What do you think of Cyborg?
Very, very creative.
Ooh, right. Because we're actually a bit divided on Cyborg. I personally don't see how developed he can become from where he currently is, because a lot of it is like legacy and stuff he could do before, but he's lost a few things, like he's lost corner damage, his wake-up game is a lot worse, but he's also gained a few other things, and I don't realistically know how that's actually made him turn out. But you obviously play Cyborg the most. So what do you think?
So, without a shadow of a doubt, Cyborg, no matter what people say, and this is all my opinion, obviously, completely my opinion, but as my main character, my favourite character in the game, funnest character in the game to play for me, because he fits everything I like in a fighting game character, Cyborg is, without a shadow of a doubt, way better than he was in the first game. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yes, he lost corner damage. Yes, he's lost his wake-up attack off the uppercut. They are undeniably slightly worse. Wake-up, way worse. Corner damage, still good, so it doesn't matter. but he's way better in Injustice 2. He's got good zoning. He has got good zoning. Really strong zoning. He has a ton of tools to keep you away because he's got 2 different projectiles, one diagonal, one straight. If you instant air, if you're crisp with instant air, that's really effective as well. He can zone some characters to absolute death, on top of the fact that the second you catch a projectile in the air, he can go for trait, he can go for missiles, all of which will command a lot of threat on the screen, and he has got the armored grappling hook, which is a super good get off me tool besides having to commit to a meter burn roll. What I think he does struggle against is A, he can be outzoned by certain characters. For characters that have really fast projectiles that recover quickly, he very rarely wins those trades. It forces him to go for up projectiles or up blasts. And up blasts are actually really easy to advance on. It is the straight shots that are kind of hard to deal with, because the diagonal shots, you can jump over them, you can dash under them, you know, you can work your way in against those much easier. So in a matchup where he's forced to go for the diagonal shot, it's much easier for that opponent to actually advance in on him because he's going for inferior zoning tools. So the big thing is worse defense. Losing the wake up attack uppercut was a huge deal. It's hit him really substantially because you can go a bit more ham on him on wake up now.
But worst wake up defense in a game with more universal wake up options. I think that's something that can help him out. Is the
Cyborg's trait lets him down. I completely disagree. His trait is one of the main things that makes him not complete trash. Because the second you get 2-3 and 1-1-2, both of them are absolutely superb at setting up trait for both zoning and setup. He has ways to guarantee them. If he gets a Roomba on the floor for free, the floor trait, he commands so much threat. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like super
do you remember the Roomba on Metropolis outside?
Yeah.
Was it Metropolis?
It reminds me of that.
It's like a blockable
a worse version of that.
It's like a blockable version of that, but the threat, once it's out and you know it's just going to keep moving, I think that makes him a bit more threatening.
So Cyborg, essentially, you know, I don't think I maximize Cyborg. I think currently there are better Cyborg players out there, like Balding. You know, although I know when we watched one Red Hot Sundays, it wasn't free for them. They kind of, you know, had a bit of a hard time.
I think his problem is, once again, not
but they got matched up against some tricky matchups. They got matched up against Deadshot. They got matched up against Atrocitus. Atrocitus doesn't really lose hard to Cyborg.
Thanks to the host, Rizzo. Much appreciate it, man.
So it's basically a matter of, you know, I think the character is good, but I feel like with Cyborg,
needs more representation.
Not necessarily, because the Cyborg players that use him are really good. However, he is definitely not bad. I do not think
Kaisertron plays Cyborg. Of course he does.
Oh, of course he plays Cyborg.
Of course Kaisertron
plays Cyborg. But I just think Cyborg's good. I don't think he's top tier, but I think he's good.
Also, how's it going? Nice to see you again, man. Green Arrow. This is one that people have been talking about quite a bit. We've actually asked, specifically Costner, quite a bit about Green Arrow. Like, you know, what do you think of it? And even though he's lost a few things he had in the first, he's obviously gained a lot of damage across the board and a few other good things. Apparently, his worst matchups have gone. Like, his really awful matchups from Injustice 1.
They're not even in the game,
Most of those characters aren't even in the game, and those that are back aren't quite as bad. But apparently his problem is almost like the same problem, just with different characters. He kind of struggles against the Aquaman, the Black Adams, like those upper echelon top characters that, you know, he kind of struggles with, is kind of holding him back. I think that's like a running theme with a few characters in this game. Is again, they're not bad by their own merits. In fact, Green Arrow is a very strong character if you're going by what he has as a tool set. It's just that when you match him against the most common characters, Black Adam, Aquaman, they're characters that you will have one or two of in every ball you will ever play, he's going to struggle. But I think aside from that, he seems really well-rounded, like a really solid character. Catwoman, I think is really good. You know, low profiles, everything, great damage, she's got mix, she's got those jump-ins, great footsies, counter zones.
She's on some people's top 5.
Yeah, I can see why. You know, she's kind of just a bit of a jack of all trades, really. She hits hard, she's got good defense.
She's on some people's top 5.
She kind of just has everything, really, and a small hitbox to boot. The thing is, she's got quite low defense. I don't think the game's old enough for these kind of values to really
No, because things, her defensive option, the one thing the game doesn't factor, right, 900 defense, but the game doesn't factor the
kind of values to really.
I feel like something might be playing in the background for some reason, so let me just shut this down. Alright, we're good now.
Voice is looping, please fix. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because I went on the dashboard, folks, but I think it's alright now. Alright, we're going to sit. We're going to sit for a sec.
A bit of a meltdown, but I think we've got it.
We're going to sit here now, and I'm going to wait and see if it stops.
I bet it's still going.
Fixed?
Guys, is it still going? I've never seen our chat.
You know what that was? It's because I went to check our sub count, and it must have just looped in the background, a stream. And then when you play the stream on Twitch, it loops all over the place anyway.
Fixed, holy fuck, stop, fixed, we fixed. Fixed. Okay, cool. Now,
I think we're good. Anyway, so what I was saying before we move on to Dr. Fate is the game says 900 defense. However, the game doesn't factor in the fact that she low profiles everything, and she's actually the hardest character in the game to hit anyway. So I think her defense is just fine, to be honest. But yeah, that's Catwoman.
Dr. Fate, not a huge amount of people playing him. Obviously, Pig of the Heart, Peanut, Useful Glue being...
Peanut's Dr. Fate is super sick.
I think all the Dr. Fate players are really strong in their own way.
Oh yeah.
I think
Pig and Peanut are both good. Really good.
Pig and Peanut are both really good Dr. Fates. Useful Glue is my favorite Dr. Fate to watch, just because he's just got so much tricky stuff, and I just find it really exciting to watch. But I think the character has. I want to see him at more tournaments, because Useful Glue hasn't played a tournament yet. Peanut,
I feel like Dr. Fate is one of the most underrated characters in the game because of both really good zoning. He's got a decent wake-up attack. I think it is a good wake-up attack. But the big thing...
there are ways around it, but fundamentally it's something you have to
The big thing about
respect.
Dr. Fate is his traded Ank drop. It's so effective. To pressure with his traded Ank drop only requires 1 Ank. It is so easy to get 1 Ank. He's just really execution heavy.
That's what I mean. I think the scary thing about Dr. Fate is that with every day he gets better. People find out more stuff about him. He gets trickier, but people discover more setups, more uses for the Ank drop or his trait or whatever it is.
Hey, Dr. Fate's viability is a slow burner, I think. It'll take a while, but he will get there.
He gets more technical every day, but he gets stronger every day from what we see and just what he's actually capable of doing.
Completely agree. I think as time moves on, he might be one of the most effective zoners in the game because he's got good keep away, good damage off that keep away, but he's got a good wake up attack and setup potential and pressure off red Anks.
But obviously,
and I think the red Anks is going to make him a bit almost like Sinestro.
But he's not going to get combos off standing strings the way most people can. If he blocks something and tries to punish it with a full combo, it is significantly harder for him to do it and get a lot of bang for his buck off of that. His massive combos come from Ank drop setups, throws that launch for full combos, and more sort of situational means. He's not just going to hit you with the standing string and do 500 damage the way loads of other characters will.
This is taking a while, but I feel like this is useful for us to get our opinions of these characters off our chests.
I don't think Flash sucks.
Alrighty, guys.
I mean, I don't think Flash... Flash definitely has problems in this game.
More than one, for sure.
But he can still open you up, right? He's still got... he's still got 50-50s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Forward... he's still got the overhead.
I can't remember the annotations either.
I say forward 2, forward low. But he's still got 50-50s, he's still got damage. I mean, he lost the charge, but Flash players are doing a really good job of making up for what they took away. And I think he's still got really cool setup potential. And again, he's really execution heavy, really technical. And again, people Honeybee. I think mainly Honeybee, right? The sort of premier Flash right now. Zyfox is doing well, making the character look stronger than he might actually be, but not struggling massively. He just might not be a one character in this game. You might need to fix
the thing about the Flash is I do not think he can win by himself.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal anyway. I do not think the character can win standalone. However, also there really is no getting around the fact that he has got a lot more. He's like Bane in the sense that he has got undeniably a lot more problems.
I actually
in
think
Injustice 1 than he had in the first game.
It's actually quite appropriate saying he's a bit like Bane, not just because Bio and Honeybee obviously being brothers, but a strong character again by his merits, but not a one. Not going to win by himself, is going to need...
Characters that can't win standalone might not be top 5 or top 10.
Let's not forget, he is really dangerous when he's right in front of you and you're standing there and you hit something. But this is Injustice 2, where that is harder than it sounds. Yeah. You've got meter burn roll, you've got a few other options, some interactables get you in for free.
It's easier to keep people away than it is to rush down in this game.
It is easier to keep people out than to get in, and that's where Flash struggles, I think.
Yeah, because bear in mind in Injustice 2, you've got push block, you've got delayed wake up, backdashes are good again, very projectile heavy. Some characters have good air movement, good jump ins, ranged normals, a lot of stuff in the game that is designed to keep people away, and it all works in harmony. So against someone like Flash, very easy to do all of those things and prevent him from getting in.
Speaking of hard to get in, Beetle. Beetle is...
well, you know a lot more about Beetle than I do.
Definitely seemed to be a weaker character early on, but again, the more people play him, the more people find, and the better he becomes. One of the few characters, there's not a huge amount of characters in this game that have true standing 50-50s, least of all safe ones, and that's where Beetle can kind of really shine. If you're in Mace Stance, obviously the fireball is insane, it's plus on block, in the corner it's really dangerous. His air mobility is really unpredictable. You can make yourself really hard to anti-air. You can get in with the air dash. Fireball's great, you've got some cool tricky block strings, and obviously if you go into Blade Stance, you then have really dangerous footsies and an anti-air that will never lose. His down 2 when he's in Blade Stance is flawless. You literally can't leave the ground if you're... It's like Aquaman Trident. It's like 6 frames as well, I think. 6 frame down 2, 6 or 7 frames. It's crazy fast. But you're not going to realistically get in on it.
Careful with that squeak, mate. That's a sensitive microphone.
You're not going to
bust everyone's ears.
It's really hard to get in on him, and it's quite simple for him to keep you out. The thing about Beetle is that, and also safe wake up. Shield bash is insane.
Yeah.
But prone to getting meter burn back 3 on a read, but they have to read you for that. They have to spend a bar to do that. Something that people said let him down is low damage output. If you're willing to go into the bounce cancel and you're meter burning, you're cancelling into back 3, you are gonna hurt. If you've got access to a background bounce, you are gonna hurt. He's situational, benefits heavily from stages, but there are a lot of characters like that. If you have, Punkster, you're right. He is a balanced character. That's the thing about Beetle. He is not too bad and he's not too good. He is a brilliantly balanced character in my opinion. DJT believes in Beetle, he hasn't strayed away from him, and that by itself says, speaks volumes, because DJT and MIT definitely known for swapping
DJT knows his characters, he knows his characters. This guy's a grand finalist for EVO for the Injustice series. So.
Also, the danger, you can't just sit there and block him, you have to make it through a minefield of projectiles. When you get in, he's got overhead, he's got raw low and a safe sweep, one of if not the best sweep in the game.
Finally, some of the best meter build in the game too.
Yeah, meter build in the game, which actually means that Beetle versus Atrocitus, you block a forward 2, you push block. And by the time he's made his way back in, unless, he just makes that raw read and you do something silly and he does it straight away, you've probably built that bar by the time he gets in range to do it again, and he builds bar, he goes through it like nobody's business, punishes really hard with the right, if you're willing to spend the bar, corner restand itself, eliminates wake-ups, great mobility, just, ticks a lot of boxes. But again, has problems, but excels at a lot as well.
Firestorm, I think...
Let's go Firestorm.
Firestorm, I think people are a bit divided by. Some people actually think that the character's maybe underexplored. He's got good damage. He's got decent zoning. His mobility is definitely good. He's got some of the best wake-up attacks in the game. And a lot of his stuff is safer than certain other characters, depending on what the moves are. Some of his specials are hard to punish. Some of his specials are safe. His strings, they're the unsafe ones, right? The mix-ups of the 50-50 between the overhead or the low shot, that's the unsafety. But some people say that this character sucks. Some people say this character looked good day 1, but when you break him down, you look at him on paper, some people say he sucks ass.
Am I the only Beetle main in EU? I'm actually not a Beetle main, he's just one of the characters I play the most. But I know you got, Justin Xavier plays him a bunch. I don't know about much other people in EU, but he definitely has a few players, but I really like him. But
Firestorm,
back to Firestorm.
I feel like, honestly, I do not think this character is bottom tier, but I don't know whether I think he's top tier. He just seems
I can actually see why people might think he's weak.
He just seems average to me.
I do think you can fuzzy low fire and the overhead, and even then the overhead outside of trait, like it's the much less damaging option. It's like the tremor, the 2-1. Was it 2-1 down 4?
The thing is, you make that comparison, but when your health is super low, that overhead tremor became one of the scariest options in the whole game.
But you had to have low health for that to happen. But speaking of which, I don't think that's like quintessential a way we've seen people open up with Firestorm. But he's got a few other things, like his flame, his like sort of sphere burst. His tier burst being plus on block when you meter burn it gives him some interesting pressure, but has to spend bar to do it. And when he spent bar on that, he doesn't have it to capture the ground thing. He's got good counter zoning, good wake ups. But again, I think you're kind of just limited. I think that's the main problem, is that there are other characters in the game that do what he does, just better. But at the same time, good keep away, utility, health regen. His trait seems really hard to build up and use effectively, just because of how long it takes to build up. But considering how much, how much bang for your buck it gives you, it seems that's why it's that far. But then again, you've got a character like Batman that starts with 3 bats. But Firestorm doesn't start with a fully charged trait.
It's pretty weird.
I find there's a few inconsistencies like that. I actually think Firestorm might be one of the most hardest characters for me to really put my mind on and what I think about him. Like, I can see why he might be decent, but I can also see why people are saying he's not very good. I'm truly undecided on him.
Green Lantern, next.
I think he's good. I think it's hard to say whether he's as good as he was before, because obviously, like, Minigun was really good. Rockets for plus frame pressure was great too. But that said, some of the specials he's got instead seem decent. Obviously, Green Lantern players definitely aren't struggling on mass. Obviously, Gross being the premier Green Lantern right now, I think.
Gross is doing just fine, though. Like, he really is. Like, he feels similar to what he was in 1, where he's just got tools to be fundamentally sound. He's got good plus frames. He's got really good wake-up attack, like really, really strong wake-up attack. He's got good defense. He's got good offense. He can zone. He can play footsies. He's got good jump-ins. He's got good hard knockdowns. I just think he's a well-rounded, good character. If he's not top 5,
solid.
Or in a lot of people's,
solid.
I think he's like, super, super up there. If he's not top tier, fine, but he's definitely up there among characters that can totally compete by their own merits, I think. I really think so.
Harley Quinn, I think much of the same. Definitely better than she
By
was
the way, I
before.
don't think he's top 5, by the way. That's not me saying that, just he's good.
This isn't. We're not talking about tier placement. We're talking about character viability and what they can
I just
do.
realised how what I could have said could have sounded. But yeah, Harley. Better than she was in 1, I think, for sure.
I think it's the trait. Literally, it all comes down to the hyena utility. Like, obviously, Biohazard being probably the most successful Harley right now. And it all comes down to, he gets so much mileage out of the hyenas. Like, it's just everywhere that you would normally throw a bomb or...
What did everyone say but in Injustice 1? She said, Harley, by her own merits, is super sick. If she had a reliable trait that we could do consistently, I think she'd be better, because without trait, she's still strong. She just needs a good trait. In Injustice 2, they kept her very similar, and they just gave her a new trait, a consistent trait, a reliable trait. It goes hand in hand with her keep away and her up close, so the trait complements her meta anyway. I think she's super strong. I think she's really, really good. Way better than she was in the first game.
Aquaman, top character, top tier. No question. No,
top 5, top
no
3
question.
probably, I think.
I would say a top character in the way the game is currently played.
When has Aquaman not been top tier?
I don't know.
Ever.
But
He's
right
always
now-
been top tier.
Right now, incredible damage output, footsies for days, very simple to play and execute, very hard to make mistakes. Anti-air, you cannot stuff. That anti-air is guaranteed. You leave the ground, you'll get an anti-air straight up. Damage, insane, massive damage. Meter build is ridiculous. Like Trident Rush is still insane.
Here's the thing about Aquaman, right? Where it was sort of designed with Aquaman that because he can't launch meterlessly now, or off most things he can't launch meterlessly, it was supposed to be that Aquaman cannot launch you for a combo without bar.
Can you shut my water, please?
If he has bar, he has to do either Trident Rush or from the D meter burn, and that's a choice he has to make. So on paper you go, wow.
That's what we all thought.
On paper you go, wow, so this character has to choose between Trident Rush or combos. That's crazy. But then you realise, in Injustice 2, he's got frame traps that he didn't have in Injustice 1, and then using those frame traps conditions people to block. The second you've conditioned them to block, you can start doing more block strings. What happens when someone blocks? You build meter. Aquaman in Injustice 2 still has all the meter in the world. It doesn't matter. He can still Trident Rush, he can still meter burn when he has it. He's very rarely without bar, and that's...
But even then,
he still does what he's always done, so he's just got frame traps.
Saying can't launch without bar, back 2 is technically a launcher still.
Still, yeah.
He can still get a full combo off of it. He can choose to spend bar once it's hit to extend it, but if you just want to go like back 2 into... back 1, 2, 3, or back 1, 2, wherever the combo is, you can still do it and get a chunk of damage. And also, this is a game with background bounces. If you're on the right stage, you just confirm into a background bounce, and there you go. You've got your meterless launcher that way instead. Very, very strong character. Very strong.
Black Canary. Now, she's one of the first characters we've talked about today that I think has some of the highest potential, I think, to be a breakout character. Where one player or a couple of players will go to some tournaments with Black Canary, and I think she has the tools that can let players get some really good performances with the stuff she has available. And I think this is a character that might turn heads and think that she's probably better than people gave her credit for. I think she really could be like a Sonya, like a Sonya style character in the game. I really think that.
But that being said, she's still one of those characters that struggles to get in a game as keep away.
But when she gets in,
she gets in, it is set play C. She has so much reset potential, massive damage. Her character power is really solid. Has some issues, like if she goes for a Canary Cry and obviously gets stuffed, she will lose it, and it takes a long ass time to come back. But she's a perfect tournament character. If all you need to win is 2 or 3 games, she's great for that.
If you've got to win a 3 out of 5 and you're not playing long sets and you've got like tech and mix-ups for days with her, then she's really dangerous. Like, the thing about Canary as well is her damage just, it can't be ignored at all. She is one of the only characters in the game with a very strong set play factor. Where like, it's I touch you and I could potentially take the whole round on this one turn.
But then think of it, right? Who are the matchups she's going to come up against? She's going to come up against Aquaman, who just Aqua Armors out of the Canary Cry. She can't use anything but...
Aquaman is a matchup you don't even want to bother with as Canary.
She hits Aquaman with a Canary Cry, he uses Aqua Armor, all of a sudden her damage is completely neutered. Black Adam keeps her out for free, goes toe-to-toe with her in the damage department, and has a better full-screen game. And then obviously Atrocitus, who he just gets the cat out and does whatever the fuck he wants. And that's... She's almost got green... Appropriate, she's got Green Arrow's problem.
And the thing about Canary as well is she's not got a projectile she can sort of check you with full screen, so she can't passively build the meter against someone like Atrocitus, so when he finally gets in, she can't push block, because she gets bar by being up close. She's not going to build meter as quickly as certain other characters that can just check projectiles and build that meter. She only gets meter when she gets in, or if she's taken damage. So she doesn't, she hasn't got the same nature of meter build as some other characters, and she needs that meter to wreck you. Do you know what I mean?
Batman, incredible.
I mean,
absolutely incredible. If you guys haven't seen it, go to Irishman as his Twitter right now and look at the video he posted going off some new tech I want to say he found.
I'll let you describe the tech while I have another drink.
We haven't seen it before. I don't know for sure how new it is, but basically...
It just makes me sick, man. It makes me sick.
Batman can combo off a throw tech, and I'm going to show you guys what that means. I'm going to show you. And I've never done this before, but it doesn't look difficult, so it might take me a few times, but I'm going to see what I can do. Okay, I want to... how do I do this? Practice. One bat. I want to make... Can I make him throw tech? Reversal. Wake up, wake up. Throw escape. Okay, right, so he's set to throw escape. Make sure he's auto block as well. Auto block. Oh yeah, I'll make him auto block.
Always,
So basically, he's going to throw tech, and then he's going to block as soon as he can. I've got a bat out.
No, you do it later. You haven't got a bat, you tit. You got to do it like really late, like super late. So you got to do it just at the right time. Probably a set time, isn't it?
This does work. I've just never done it before, so
You're a dumbass. You picked a really bad time to do this. Nah, that's not going to work. You picked a horrendous time to do this. Maybe you should give yourself more bats.
I'll give myself 2. Let me give myself 2.
This guy.
I'm not going to finish my point until
you broke up the flow. You broke up the flow, mate. You need more than one bat. Okay. Oh, I can already see it. You just do it at a certain time. There's a lot of pushback on that. I mean, it is possible, because Matt did the whole video on it, and it works.
There you go.
Yeah.
So basically, he gets a...
Just took a couple of tries.
Now, I suck, so that took me a while, but watch the video. If you just put any remote timing into this, you'll get it consistently.
Kakizi, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription.
Thanks
much
very much,
appreciated. Man. Welcome.
But you get a full combo every single time they take a throw. If you've got a couple of bats out.
Yeah. I mean, it takes practice, right? But I don't play Batman. You play a tiny bit. But, at the end of the day, like, we practiced it for, like, what? A minute? And now we have the timing. It's not hard, Now you've got the timing down. This works every single time. So if you're a Batman main who has all the muscle memory in the world with this character, that's going to become like you just do it. Grab tech, and you just do it over and over again. You don't even play Batman.
Yeah, of course. This is just to prove a point that this is just one thing that Batman has at his disposal. Like, he has one of, if not the best trait in the game, I think. Like, it's definitely,
Because bear in mind, taking a grab and being forced to take block pressure, even if you mess up, is still stupid. Like, even if you don't get the combo. But either way, you guys get the idea. So Batman's bats are, in my opinion, they're pretty broken. I really think his trait is kind of broken.
But that's even taking into account that he builds bar like nobody's business. He uses a bat trait where a lot of characters would normally spend bar. If he wants to spend bar, he can EX bat for pressure. He can keep you blocking almost endlessly. His jump 2 is un-anti-airable by a lot of characters in the game.
He's got the best jump in the game for free.
But even when he leaves the ground, he can do he can go for the sparks in the air. He can go for a double jump. At any point, he can send their bats out. He summons bats and gets to move for free because at any point he lets them go, and the hit stun is so mighty, he gets a full combo almost anywhere when they connect. He's got a vortex using his grapple hook restand. And his
He's
jump
one of the
two.
only characters in the game with a vortex.
Yeah, he's actually got a true vortex where even the Batman player doesn't have to know where he's going to land, because you just do the string when you land, and whatever side you land on hit you get a combo, on block you go into something that's safe. You know, he's got crazy options. He requires a lot of effort to play at the highest level. I mean, obviously there are a lot of Batmans that just generally do stuff, but to be a top level Batman means you are a nightmare to deal with, and that's what we're talking about. Characters played, at the sort of max of their ability. Batman, incredible character.
Probably top 5, I think. I really do.
Red Hood's the hardest one to place because he's so new, but
you've played him a ton, haven't you?
I've played him a lot since release, and I really like him. Like, I'm talking, I might potentially be the world's first exclusive Yellow Hood main. I might be a Red Hood main in some. If I play for a little while longer and I have as much fun with him as I am at the moment, I might main this character. He's super fun. How good he is, I think it's a little bit early to say overall, because he's obviously so new, and I don't personally have a lot of experience versus top level players. I've played like a couple hundred games with him in player matches against people just in the lobbies. Actually, no. Speaking of which, I actually had a really good set with Madsen against his Darkseid and against his Bane. His Darkseid destroyed me because I didn't know what I was doing, but I actually took hella games off his Bane and obviously beat my ass as well. But it was a good set. It was really fun. But I actually think Red Hood might destroy Bane with some time because he just keeps him out for free. But that said, I think he's got a lot of options. I think the more we discover tricky stuff he can do with low mind, and obviously his plentiful overheads, he might have some mixed potential. His keep away is really strong. I actually think he does very well versus a few characters like Batman. I think he does compete really well with. But with a little bit of time, I definitely don't see him being a bottom tier character, that's for sure. Superman.
Top tier again. Like, I just think this character is super good. Even if the character is not considered top 5, because there are 5 characters that are, like, either better than or, I guess, like, not give him trouble as such. Or, I guess that's, like, people might say there are 5 characters that I think might be better than Superman. However, Superman is... what he does works on pretty much everyone, right? Like, this character, he is the Ryu of the game. He has absolute... If Batman is the Ken of the game, which he is, Superman is the Ryu. Like, he's got every fundamental tool you could possibly want. He's got good mids, he's got good pressure, he's got good frames, he's got good damage, meatless, and with and with bar, I mean. His trait is unbelievable. He's got wake-up attacks, he's got an amazing backdash, he's got great movement. Like, this character is complete. Superman is a absolutely complete
If they
character.
didn't add a ton of scaling to his dive bomb, and it did just full combo damage,
top 5 for that.
he would be a top tier character, like, without a shadow of a doubt. And even then, even with that scaling, there are still like people like Sonic Fox and a few others saying that he is still like a top 5 character, and that's with the dive bomb scaling. So imagine if he didn't have it and he still did like beta damage, it'd be like undeniable. Wonder Woman, another character that the community is quite divided on, and I say that it's a majority think she's bad, a few think she slept on, but
I don't know whether I think she's bad.
The thing is, it's all the Wonder Woman players that are saying she sucks. Which, when there isn't even one Wonder Woman player at the moment that we know of saying that she doesn't suck, I think that kind of says a lot. And it all comes down to the fact that her trait is random. She's got Harley's problem from the first.
Yes.
If her trait was commandable and she could choose what one she got, she'd just be so much better.
If
but
Wonder
it's random for some
right,
reason.
so let's look at it this way, which is the big thing that holds Wonder Woman back in the game, is the most effective characters in the game are very defensive, very keep away characters, right? And they can zone her out. If she was able to give herself an air dash whenever she wanted, that issue would immediately be a moot point. She would have the tools to get in if she could give herself the tools for the matchup whenever she wanted. The fact she's got a random trait is a major setback, and I pray to God that they change it. She needs to be able to choose her trait.
I mean, Acro is a really good Wonder Woman, so I can see that, and I hope to see him compete to really show that she's good. But right now, she seems to have a few problems that she shouldn't have. But that being said, she has a lot. She's got a good wake-up game. Shield bash is insane in footsies. Even without the shield bash, her footsies are good. Amazing jump in, amazing anti-air.
She's got good plus frames.
Good plus frames.
She has got good plus frames.
She hurts. That's one thing about her. She actually does hella damage.
She also wrecks certain characters. She does give certain characters a nightmare because of how much space she controls without needing projectiles. Like, she controls a lot of space if the opponent is the character that needs to get in. That's the big thing, is that if she's against someone that doesn't have zoning, she can actually zone them. with shield toss, with the range of her strings. Her down 2 is an amazing anti-air. Jump 3 is an amazing jump in. I don't know. I think Wonder Woman, again, she could potentially be a breakout character. But if not, just changing her traits, which you can pick the trait, is
But to be honest,
enough.
like, this is one of those cases that we honestly just don't see how she can be bad, but the fact that every Wonder Woman player, obviously apart from Acro, is saying that she's bad, kind of reinforces that at the moment. We kind of
but all the Melina players said Melina was bad in MKX.
I know, but
we can't forget that. We will never forget that.
But that also wasn't a month into the game as well. So let's just give.
And Melina was trash day 1. I mean, we can't forget that.
Let's just give some time and see if she basically gets Melina. Who knows? Black Adam, again, like Aquaman.
We actually haven't got Darkseid on the disc, so we need to talk about Darkseid.
Let's go to Darkseid.
We'll talk about Darkseid, we forgot about him.
So Darkseid,
top 5.
I think CEO...
Probably top 5.
I think we're going to see at CEO why he's an amazing character.
I think after CEO, everyone will have Darkseid in their top 5. Because Sonic Fox is going to mix. He's going to 50-50 the shit out of people. He's going to zone them out. He's going to win trades. He's going to hit like a truck. He's going to mix up. He's going to be safe. He's going to be plus in some cases because he's going to have zoning. He's got the trait which lets him get in, pressure, zone out. Like, amazing, a good, strong wake-up game.
I don't know if I'd say top 5, but definitely
I think people will put him in the top 5. I really, really do. I think he is going to be another potentially top 5 character. He is unbelievably versatile.
But the important thing is that he's very powerful.
Yeah.
And it's not even just Sonic Fox. There are a few other players that I know will be using him. I'm not going to say who they are just in case they haven't said it yet. And they kind of want that, unfamiliarity. But he's just good, right? Huge damage, mixes for days, 50-50s when he fucking leaves the ground.
He plays Injustice 2 very well.
Yeah,
Darkseid does.
His keep away. He's got like Sector style keep away where he knocks you down when he hits you with a projectile, and that in itself is insane. If you knock them on the ground, as soon as you get knocked on the floor and he's standing up, he is winning that zoning war, right? He's still good. You know, he's got that edge. And obviously, his trait is really versatile. He can summon any one of many minions.
Darkseid isn't good at all. Too many losing matchups.
I don't know, man.
That is
I don't know if
that is a solid state. That is a strong statement against someone. I don't agree with that at all, personally.
I think it depends on what we see from CEO, because right now, a lot of people were beforehand, early on, playing him as just a zoner, playing just for the keep away, always for that keep away. But since people are really exploring how much damage he does, the meter burn air stomp being crazy, I don't know, man. I don't see how he can be anything but a really strong character. But everyone that thinks he's currently a top character is going to be playing him at CEO, so it's up for them to prove that he's a top character.
CEO's going to prove that, man. CEO's going to prove it.
But he's very powerful, very powerful. So Black Adam, again.
Top tier again, top 5 once again.
Wake up game sucks, but not a lot of characters get close enough to him for that to be a problem.
If you mistime your meaty, he can still get lightning gauge as well.
Think about Black Adam.
It's really weird.
I think Black Adam has one of, if not the best comeback potential in the game, and it's not with set play, it's just with raw damage. He hits a meter burn dive kick, you might be losing the round on that, because he's going to knock you full screen, he's going to get the orbs up. Popping orbs...
Black Adam does too much damage, in my opinion. Black Adam does too much damage.
Out of nowhere.
For no reason. He is the biggest character in the whole game that you get hit by, and you look at your health and go, where did my health go? I just lost 60% damage to what? He hit me with a dive kick. What the hell was that?
A big part of it is the orbs. The orbs have so much guaranteed damage that you can just pop them like... You know, against certain characters, like for example, Scarecrow, right? Scarecrow sees his opponent on like 3%, 3-5%. He pops his trait and gets near them. Black Adam sees, don't the orbs do like 5% each? I'm pretty sure it's 5%. He sees you at 15% health. If I'm right, if it's not 5, I'm wrong.
We'll just double check.
But if he sees you at 5%, he's like, okay, cool, time for me to win the game. Hang on, let me pop. 32. Okay, so it's 3% each. So about if you see him about 10% health.
Well, it's 32, right? So it's about 10%.
So. Yeah, so if you get this, you do it off a dive kick, which gets chip. How do you do dive kicks?
Down forward 3.
That's it, down forward 3, of course it is. So you block it. Say I'll get him to block. Always. You just pop this and go, cool. Oh, I'm an idiot. There we go. you do a dive kick. Dive kick into orbs. That's 2% on the dive kick, 3% on each orb. That's 11%. You get them at low health. Cool. GG. You just need to get them. Keep and roll. Meter burn roll through them in the orbs. The orbs don't pass through. The orbs will all collide. And that is one thing that we see Black Adam do every time is he gets them low and it's like, okay, oh, game's over. Full screen. Full screen. Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm at this range. Oh, you're waiting for me to burn low lightning. He's just... Any range of meter burn roll you ever hear? He just has to get near you. And this ends so many games with Black Adam. It's just, I kind of feel like, I don't know, something needs to be done about that, I think.
And also, let's not forget that, but damage output, where you go, I've just landed a meter burn dive kick. I'm going to do this. I don't even play Black Adam and I did it first try! How did I do that first try? I did 50% damage, basically!
You are an amazing player.
I don't play this, I mean, I'm not giving myself props. I'm saying that shit is too easy because of how much damage he does. I don't play the character. I just know it's meter burn dive kick, forward 1-2 straight, forward 1-2 grab. That's it. Easy, baby! Anyone can do that. But it does so much damage! And it was safe! It was safe as well! I don't know. I think Black Adam is just unbelievable. Unbelievably good. And the only thing they need to do for Black Adam, I think, is just scale some of his damage. That's all they have to do.
I think if he lost a bit of damage, that's kind of all it needs. Because he's not without his problems. Like, he is free on wake up. Some characters can get around it easier than others, but it's just the damage. For
that's
me,
the only thing.
For me,
that's the only thing.
For me, it's just the damage, right? He hits too hard for too little in almost every single situation. And if that was toned, not ruined, like, I'm fine for him to do big damage, just maybe not as big as he's doing right now. I just don't know if that's the
Bork Laser, thank you very much for the sub, mate. Welcome. Again, the sub is always majorly appreciated. I believe as well, actually, we are one sub away from, for the first time in actually over a year, breaking 100 subs.
Jesus.
That would be unbelievable, guys.
Guys, if we break 100 subs tonight, that'd be amazing.
Bork Laser, though, thank you very much for the sub, man. Welcome.
It's been a long-ass time since we had 100 subs, not since KP2 days, so...
That was when we broke. We broke 100 subs because we were able to replace 2 emoticons.
I'll quickly say, for those of you that may have just tuned in, or you've not been here for the last sort of half an hour or so, we get one of the most common questions we get in chat is like, what do you guys think of this character? What do you guys think of that character? Competitively, is this character top tier, that character bottom tier? Is this character bad, this character sucks?
This is going to be a long video. I'm putting this online after because so many people have asked us. Yeah, this is going to be a long video.
We have we're going through the characters one at a time and giving our 2 cents and generally what the community might think, what we personally think, and like who represents these characters competitively.
It's a knowledge session.
So we're basically just giving our 2 cents on the characters at this current time. If you're watching this on YouTube way later, keep in mind of what date this was uploaded, so that you might be watching for a different version.
Don't skip him. We've got to go on to Joker. Oh, Joker. I see you almost forgetting about this guy. I don't blame you. Joker.
I kind of feel like that sums up our thoughts on Joker right now.
I know, right?
I forgot he was in the game. No one's playing him.
I think that's Joker's biggest thing. I look at Joker, and even by the end of Injustice 1, when Sonic Fox went back to Injustice 1 and was finding...
Thanks a lot, Friday Night.
So he was finding all of these new combos and these new setups, and he was like smashing everyone offline and online with Injustice 1 Joker, and he was beating everyone. He was beating all the Zod. He was beating all the people playing all the top tiers, and he was wrecking everyone with Joker. Now, Joker still has a lot of setup, but no one's playing him at the moment. And I think that might be the biggest thing that is holding Joker back, is that no one's playing him yet. But I don't know. I mean, if Sonic Fox ever visits his boy, we might see something.
If we're being realistic, it's not like no one plays him. It's like the Jokers we see haven't really had the chance to compete yet.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen enough of him. That being said, the game's a month old. There's literally only been Combo Breaker, and CEO is this weekend. It literally starts in like an hour or so. So we might very well see a Joker do really well this weekend. So, you know, who knows? But right now, I can see the potential. I can also see where his problems might lie. But I think, again, we need to see more of him in tournaments to judge how good we think he is. And if we go like months and months in and we still haven't seen him competitively, there is probably a reason for that.
Well, I think, again, Joker's one of those time will tell characters. He's got lots of potential. He's got some very fundamentally
Swordsman 13
good tools.
with a $4.99 sub. That brings us to 100 subs.
That does.
Guys, you in chat, thank you very much. It actually has been like
we did it! We did it, boys!
It's been over a year since we had 100 subs. And that was for our emotes. So the fact that we're now back up to that point means a lot to us. So
I mean, we could technically revisit some of our emotes and put Injustice 2 ones in now. Just technically, theoretically. But either way, thank every single one of you for subbing to us. We really appreciate it. Thank everyone that subbed. Breaking 100 is pretty cool. It's been a long time since we have. But again, you know, you guys are the ones that make it happen. So hopefully you're enjoying the stream.
Just so you guys know, this stream will include gameplay. We're just doing this. So Captain Cold next. I've been playing a lot of Captain Cold. I think there are a couple of like sleeper Captain Cold players are going around there right now. I could definitely see where he might have some issues. It's quite hard for him to open you up. He doesn't have very strong mix, like sort of just by face value alone, but his keep away is pretty strong. His trait is really powerful if you can build it up, but I think that's where he lies. A lot of his potential is going to come from ice grenade setups. The longer this game goes on and the more we see people find stuff out with ice grenade, mainly ice grenade. I know level 3 trait gives him access to the full screen freeze.
I really feel like ice grenade is where it's at though. Yeah. I really think so.
But ice grenade has a couple of issues though. Like if you backdash in the sphere, it resets the freeze timer. So if the player knows that, it could be a problem. However, if you put an ice block behind them, it's a problem. If you can cage them and use the ice block and freeze grenade like effectively with each other, you can make it really hard for them to get out. He doesn't have much in the damage department, sort of conventionally, but if he can get you in the right setup, he does have potential. It's just he's very setup heavy. And I just don't think it's been developed enough that we're going to see it.
Right now, Captain Cold seems like he's a lot better in training mode than he is against a real opponent, but again, I mean, you can see a lot of potential in the character, but we need to see it used. You know, we need to see that finalized and see it in tournament and see it in a competitive setting to really think, is the character good, or is he going to become like high-tech Jackie Briggs? You know, where the character looks broken in training, but against a real opponent, the problems start to show, and maybe it's not so top tier, but we'll see.
I guess I have to wait and see.
Atrocitus! Speaking of top tier,
hello.
I could go on for hours.
This big, red, angry bastard.
Yeah, I just need, I don't even need to explain it, really. He's a walking, talking potato with a pet cat, is Atrocitus. He just sits there, and he goes, whoa, Jesus Christ, I just got way better at this game. Wow, look at my sick combos. You can't do anything about this. Yeah, great stuff. So, Atrocitus, it's pretty common knowledge now, but the second he pops Dexter, he just became the best character in the game. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. It lets him do so many different things. He gets great combos, great pressure. It's damage over time as well. It's ending a combo in the breath to continue the pressure, you know. But he's got, beyond that, some unbelievable tech. And, you know, not every character can grab you and do this. Not every character can grab you and do 50% for the grab as long as he's got a trait. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can knock you down, hit you, do a couple of reps, restand, and then grab. And then when the grab connects, loop it. Forward 3, back to 3 restand, into a guaranteed forward 2-2-3 mix up, 50-50. Like, you know, this is one of the most set play characters in the entire game, and it's one of the only characters in the game that will force you to play his game pretty much no matter what your character is.
There's a few. How do you do the shield? How do you do the shield?
Forward and trait.
Okay, so this is a problem.
Yep.
Shield. He goes, okay, cool. Cat friend, I want to get in. Thanks, cat friend. Let me beat this guy's ass. Cat friend, my stuff's unsafe. Oh wait.
Oh no, because speaking of unsafe, right? It's a wake-up attack. Atrocitus gets knocked on the ground and there's wake-up punch float.
Cat friend, give me a full combo.
And it just goes on and on. Like, it just does so much damage. He knocks you down with the punch float. And just 3 ticks. And that was a wake-up attack that was safe on block because he had Dexter available. Like, you know, I know it's just tech that we showed here, but it's more the principle that he pops trait and he wins the game. And no matter what your character is, he forces you to play his game, no matter what. And because his game is 50-50, I don't think there is a character in this game that voids skill as much as Atrocitus does. The second Atrocitus pops trait, all skill in that matchup has been removed. Like, there is no skill in forward 2 50-50 because it's safe. Anyone can do it. You just learn the execution. That doesn't require skill, right? The skill comes from playing the game at a higher level. And I'm not just hating, by the way. Like, if I competed, I would play this character. I would play this character. But it's more the fact that when he has trait, skill, I feel, is heavily removed. And by default, that must make a top-tier character.
It kind of reminds me of original Summoner Quan Chi.
Yeah, he's the closest thing to Summoner Quan in the whole game.
With better defense and a better wake-up game. You know what I mean? He reminds me of just as overwhelming, only we haven't got to play against Atrocitus and Terrible Netcode. This brings me up to my next point, which I think is very important. Because of how much of an evil bastard Atrocitus has been, can we rename his cat Mr. Bigglesworth?
Mr. Bigglesworth,
the ultimate.
And Atrocitus is Doctor Evil.
Yeah, Atrocitus is Doctor Evil.
Mr. Evil.
Mr. Evil.
No, Mr. Evil.
But
Doctor Evil.
Because his cat is such a problem, can we not rename it after the most evil cat in all of cinema?
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
I would. I'd do that.
I can't believe we've not done that yet as a community. Like, what is wrong with us? How have we not coined this forever?
Mr. Evil. Right, Robin.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Sorry, Fox says he's top 10.
But
didn't explain why.
Hayate. I mean, that's what Sonic Fox does. Sonic Fox will say a character is top 10 and he'll never say why he thinks that. He'll just say it and that's it. But Robin. A lot of the top Robin players, the upper echelon of Robin players, they agree that they think he's quite good.
I can see it.
I feel like if Sonic Fox says the character is top 10, and the best Robin players are saying, hey man, this character's good, don't sleep on him.
I've also seen a few Robin players say that he's not so good.
So let's talk about Robin then. What do you think he does well?
His down 1 game is really good. Very fast down 1, goes into a full safe string.
Down 1-2 is 0 on block, right?
Yeah.
I mean, zero, yeah, it's like safe. It's just safe as hell.
Really good footsies, setup potential. His trait is getting more explored. Really good. Good jump-ins. Good air game. I don't know. He seems decent to me.
People say he gets zoned out, but a lot of the time
he definitely does get zoned out. That is for sure a problem.
But what you need to do with Robin, a lot of the things that we see though, when we see Hayate, for example, when I see him struggle in a tournament matchup, when we saw him at Combo Breaker, he didn't lose to hardcore zoning. When he fought hardcore zoning, he was patient, worked his way in steadily, and won those matchups. What he struggled with was Bane, a character that shut down his defensive options.
And he also can't keep Bane out.
Yeah.
That's the big thing is, Robin can't keep you away. So if you're like an aggressively, massively rush down character, he can try and sneak in some down 1s, get out some of those down back 2s, the meter burns to try and, keep you honest. But fundamentally, if you've got sick rush down, I don't know if Robin's got the best tools to deal with that. He definitely has some. Like, if you're sloppy with your pressure or you're bad with your meaties, he will blow you up for sure. Get a full combo, go to restand. Again, strong restand. Good wake-up game from Robin, definitely for sure. But the restand is really good because just not having to worry about wake-ups is huge in this game, considering how strong wake-ups can be.
Robin is a patient man's character, and unfortunately, not everyone that plays this game, even at a tournament level, is patient. And that's just the way it is. So he's not a character for everyone.
Speaking of not a character for everyone,
Grodd, it doesn't get more.
Grodd, yeah. I want to say shout-outs to Omega K, who is probably one of, I'd say in my top 3 funnest players to watch in this game because of his Gorilla Grodd.
My favourite player to watch in Injustice 2 is Omega K's Grodd. It is, hands down.
Only slight bias, just a little bit of bias.
It's not even bias. I love watching his Grodd. His Grodd has tech for days. Right? He understands that the character has, let's face it, quite a weak neutral compared to some other characters.
He's a big boy, so it's very easy to hit him with stuff. Quite easy to keep him away outside of projectile immunity trait, which takes him a little bit to really get online. But one thing about Grodd, with some of the setups that are sort of appearing, like, I think the real dirty mix with Grodd is when he goes for his Psionic Blast, and he goes for his Wanyo, the sort of the big bubble, when he hits you with that.
That's the mix. That's the true mix.
When he leaps at you from that, and it becomes a legit mix-up of just frame backdash, maybe squeeze out a just frame armored back if you can, or you get launched for a full combo. That is the true shit. And Grodd is getting more and more ways to set that up. But if the Grodd player has the execution, he can hit you once with an anti-air.
Do you know how to do it? Because I have the execution because I found that original one, right? Can I, real time, see if I can get it?
I actually do it. I know the one.
Do you know it?
I know the actual reset.
I'll trust you then. I'll trust you.
Now, Omega, if you're in chat, help me out here.
I don't know if Omega's in chat, but it involves his background bounce tech, where you do. It involves his background bounce tech comes from you knock them into the background bounce, down 2 trait, down to mind control, jump in, back 2 leap, 2-2 float. Psionic Blast, and there's so much knockback on that, you go into an instant leap after that, and that's a crazy mix. We're going to see if we can just demonstrate it live for shits and giggles, but you don't know the tech. I know the tech, mate. I know the tech.
Back 2 float.
And then it's down to...
That's the one.
This guy.
I got it.
He made great promises, and he's failed to deliver.
Also, we are going for...
it's back 2 float 1.
We are doing viewer games after this. We just... We're almost done, don't worry.
This guy's a scrub. Yeah, oh my god, I feel
I got it.
garbage.
You're pressuring me.
No, I'm not. This is easy. This tech is easy. There you go. You didn't even meet it.
Oops.
Oh, we can do that thing where we just say, folks, you get the idea. If we had Omega Chase sitting with us right now, he would have already demonstrated it 5 times. 6 times. Alright, meter burn, right? You go in, back to leap.
Wrong button.
What was that?
Wrong button.
This is a
I'm not a quad player, mate!
Well, why did you say you would do it?
Because I know it.
No, you don't.
I do. Look, you get the restand, you go back to leap, and then from this,
That's the mix.
that's the one. You get this, you go back to this, and then leap.
And then super plus.
You jump to, you can go over them and hit them behind, or you do a leap. You do a grab. That is the true shit. When you get this, go back to leap, back to thing, and then leap from there. Go trait, and anything back to special cancel, and then they sort of recover just in time for that, and then you get full shit.
The true shit.
And then you can loop it.
And then you leap. No, that's the mix.
And then you can grab, go for a cross up, whatever it is. I know it's down one. I'm just shit at video games. I'm sure if you guys have noticed, but my video game ability is lacking.
It's to be desired. That's why we talk about games now.
Exactly.
You haven't got to play.
That's the one. Look.
Yeah. Oh. But that is actually the mix-up.
This is like the unoptimized, lower damage version. But what we're basically getting at is Grodd can't kill you.
Where were we going with this?
Is Grodd can hit you once and take the life bar on it. If the Grodd is making the read and has the execution, he can actually kill you, right?
He can kill you on one touch.
But
That's
not taking into account his stampede cancels on block, which I know they're not like to be relied on for constant pressure because his stampede cancels have a lot of holes, a lot of problems in certain situations. He can be minorly plus or 0 on block through certain stampede cancels, but some characters have like can abuse gaps and whatnot. Like 112 is +5, but 112 stampede cancel was +5, but there's a massive gap between 1-1 and the 2. There's at least an 8-frame gap. Superman can forward to in between that apparently.
He is by far one of the most execution-heavy characters in the game, though,
without
for sure.
doubt, because he's execution-heavy with his combos, with his resets, and even with his block pressure if you're doing stampede cancels. He also kind of struggles to get that initial hit. If you're playing really patient and have a life lead on him, it's quite easy to block versus him. He doesn't really have a launching 50-50, like forward 3 and back 1 is not a mix-up. You can fuzzy that very easily if you're paying attention.
I think someone like Supergirl actually really gives him trouble. If you have a strong defensive range to neutral and good buttons and good anti-air, you can shut down Grodd pretty much effortlessly. I really think that.
But that being said, I think he's got potential. I think we just need to see the Grodd players stick with him for a little while longer, learn the matchup specifically and how to open each individual character up, and we can see some cool shit.
Well, you look at Geef players that play Street Fighter, right? In Street Fighter 4 Geef, where some characters...
Everyone was saying Geef was bottom tier on launch, and then, the Geef players learn the game a bit.
It's like, it's just patient. It's literally work your way in, walk your way in, step by step by step by step, and then... the second you land that hit, you win the round on that. You spend the whole game working your way in. The second you get that one touch, it's mix-ups, right? And that's Grodd. Grodd is a very, very close archetype to that style.
But I think Omega K is probably my favorite Grodd right now. I think he probably has the most impressive Grodd out of the ones I've seen. Obviously, there are a number of good Grodd players, but I think
Tyrant is the kind of player I think could play Grodd unbelievably. He is patient. Tyrant is patient enough to make a character like Grodd work.
Yeah.
If he's going to CEO or EVO, I want to watch his Grodd in particular.
We haven't seen Tyrant in way too long.
I miss Tyrant, man. If you'll ever watch this Tyrant, I miss you. You need to come back.
No, I think Omega's got the best tech, and right now that's good with Grodd. So I think for me, he's kind of got the edge at the moment. But that being said, there's a lot of good Grodd.
Anyway, Cheetah.
Underrated,
definitely.
I think underrated. There's one person playing her, and Newbie doesn't even play just her. We saw him play Deadshot more than anything yesterday at the E3 thing, but massive damage, good mix, an amazing forward 3, probably the best forward 3 in the game. Tick grabs. If you're really good at I actually think Sonic Fox would be a good Cheetah player.
I think he would play her really well.
Really good mobility, low profiling, just good pressure, good damage. I don't think she's that bad. I think she's got a lot of potential. Like for example, a problem characters like her normally have is you get kept out because your offense is so scary. It's got to be hard for you to get in. It really isn't with her. Her leap is so good against a lot of the cast. I mean, some characters have really good answers for it, but
her leap is obnoxious. I think it's really obnoxious. Like it's so good, but her damage is unbelievable. She has.
As soon as
50-50
you, as soon as you see her sharpen her claws, you fucking sit there and you block. And you wait for that trait to run out. That is what you do. You see her pop it, and you do not let her touch you. Because if she does, GG. That round is over. I think she's got potential. Maybe not enough people using her right now for us to really see it. Scarecrow, I think very powerful. I think that Wake Up fix has made him very strong. Amazing spacing, amazing footsies, pressure, super scary. Meter Burn Fear Wave on block. Really dangerous. It kind of opens up that next level of pressure because the down one is guaranteed. As soon as you know they're waiting for the down one, you go for other things. He's got a good throw game. He's got really good options off Fear Wave. Great damage, amazing range, great anti-airs, amazing jump-ins, and good spacing. And you've got, good sweep and a good trait, a good character power. If you can get Traumatize online, you become really scary. And there's a lot you can do with it.
A misconception is that he gets easily zoned out.
He does.
I don't think that's
true.
true.
He can get zoned out.
Compared to characters that can be zoned,
yeah.
I don't think he's one of those.
Compared to characters that can truly, they're not getting in. Scarecrow is not one of those characters. He's not Swamp Thing. He's not Flash. He's not. Who else? He's not like that, right? You actually can get in.
Well, Grodd, right?
You can get in. Like if you're in jump 2 range, you can get in. If you're in forward 1-3 range, you can get in. If you're in forward 2 range, you can get in. No, so I'm not even mentioning his teleport. His teleport may as well not exist.
That's not how he gets in.
His teleport sucks, but he doesn't need it with how the game is currently being played. You know, if you, and even then, the teleport is good in certain situations. If you teleport against Black Adam, you can full combo him. If he goes for Meteor Burn Lightning and you teleport, that's a full combo. If Dr. Fate goes for Orb and you teleport, that's a full combo. Like, it's situational, but also his down one. His down one being so fast and comboing into side spin gets a full combo off his down one. And that's a lot of damage, potentially. The only problem, or the main problem I think Scarecrow has, is he's meter intensive. He costs a lot of bar to be dangerous. When he's got it, he is dangerous, very much so, but he is actually quite dependent on bar, because without bar, he doesn't do a lot of damage outside of Traumatize, which you have once a round, probably, if that. You might get one, maybe 2 a game, probably no more than that, unless they're just letting you build it for free.
There are a couple of things, though. There are a couple of factors, is that he has got some tricky matchups. Batman is kind of universally agreed to not be very fun.
Batman's quite tough. A really good patient Deadshot can be annoying. Aquaman, I really don't like fighting with Scarecrow. But that being said, he does have some options. But particularly Batman and Deadshot, I really don't like fighting with Scarecrow. Mainly just because like Batman is really hard to get in on if he's alternating.
Speaking of meter, though, I think the one not really thought about knock-on effect to his wake-up game now being strong, where he's got a good wake-up attack with the Fear Blast. A knock-on effect is that now, because if people predict Fear Blast, they kind of have to meter burn forward 3.
It's all single hitting wake-up attack.
Yeah.
So
the opponent now, if they think you're going to wake up, they have to read it and meter burn back 3. If they're spending bar on a read to your wake-up, when you inevitably clash, it's not as bad. Because they've now lost the meter to meter burn forward 3.
I will say having the wake up has made him better against Batman, though, for sure. Yeah. That specific matchup is a lot better now he's got the wake up attack. Because before, Batman would just knock you down and just destroy you the whole round until he made a mistake, basically.
So we're almost done, but Bane up next. Bane definitely, again, not as good as he was in the first game, but in 2, still very good, I think.
Personally, with the players that we talk to and interact with the most, very divided. Obviously, Sonic Fox had Bane in his top 10. There are a few other players that really think Bane is really strong.
The number one thing here is that the current best Bane,
which does not rate Bane at the moment.
EU doesn't rate Bane, but the best Bane, which is Biohazard, rates Bane very highly.
I'm more inclined to think that Bane is strong. I think he's definitely, without a doubt, weaker than he was in the first. Delayed Wake Up really hurts him. Not only does it mess with his Oki timing,
delayed wake up is a universal answer.
You're also like, every time you get hit by him, you delay your wake up, and all of a sudden, like, his Venom uptime is just severely cut. If you're adding up the amount of time you're spending on the ground with delayed wake up, that's actually really eating into his Venom time, and even then, like, the damage he takes from being on debuff in this game, some characters kill him if he catches him with
Clash also majorly hurts Bane because obviously it will reset his debuff time.
Clash resetting debuff time sucks for him.
Do you remember Combo Breaker when Biohazard clashed and he had to sit through a level 3 debuff time 3 separate times? And it's what lost him that game too.
And he had no choice. Like, the clashes were guaranteed because he would have lost the game had he not.
Well, either way, when he gets going though, and he does get good reads.
He's
covered in armor.
He's still a monster.
He's the hardest character in the game to clash against.
He does what he did before. He's very good at the anti-clash game, yes indeed. There is just more answers for escaping him now, which has kind of put him in a bit of a funny situation. But I think he's still powerful, but we have to wait and see. Bio thinks he's really good and he's the best Bane. But again, Bane is definitely not a one character. Not. He's not going to win by himself.
I mean, that's why, bear in mind, one thing to factor in, the number one Bane player currently, which is Biohazard, Bane is his favourite character, but it is not the only character he plays. He plays Harley, and sometimes we see Harley more than Bane, because he'll encounter a matchup and go, this matchup is tough for Bane, I'm not even going to bother with it, you know? And I think that's a big thing. Biohazard is the best Bane, right?
Bio's Bane better than Madden? Now, I think they play very differently.
Oh, they're different.
Bio and Madden has a phenomenal Bane. Madden really plays from the gut. Like Madden plays Bane the way he played Kotal Khan, which is very overwhelming. But in certain situations, I think Bio playing really sort of calculated and slow, but still obviously knows how to mix you up, makes him really powerful. But that being said, Madden has an amazing Bane as well. But even Gur's
Dude, Gur is really good.
Gur, that's how I say it.
Good.
Jesus, Gur's got a really good Bane. There are multiple amazing Banes.
But I feel like
I don't know if he's
honestly the best Bane players are the ones that acknowledge when Bane is not the answer and won't stubbornly pick him just to win with him. They're a tournament player and they know Bane well enough to understand when a matchup is not worth picking Bane in, and they'll pick the secondary instead. I honestly think that a more knowledgeable Bane player will know when to and not to use him.
I think that's a good skill to Bane, is knowing what matchups you just can't do. This one, Deadshot, I think the longer the game goes on, the less effective he becomes.
He's going to fall out of people's top fives as time goes on, even without patches, I think. I really think so.
Maybe even after CEO, because think about it, like, Darkseid does really well versus Deadshot. There are a few other characters that can really give him problems, like doesn't Black Adam?
Look at who can compete with Deadshot.
Black Adam and Darkseid, I think, are the top two.
Black Adam competes with Deadshot. Darkseid competes with Deadshot. Superman can do fine against him, I think. Supergirl does fine against him.
That being said, there are some characters that he absolutely
Catwoman hurts him.
Yeah, Catwoman hurts him. But there are some characters that he just shuts down.
Deadshot is a weird one because he absolutely shuts down some characters. However, some characters I think do really shut him down. Catwoman, I think, shuts him down. Atrocitus, a lot of people think that Atrocitus beats Deadshot as well. Like, not a fun matchup if you're playing Atrocitus. If you're playing Catwoman, Superman can compete with Deadshot, I think. Like I said, Black Adam does well. Supergirl does well against him as well, and that's just to name a few. You know,
I think
it's a weird one. He beats some characters but loses to others, and I think through patience alone, he's not going to be as useful as time goes on.
People are learning how to get in on him properly and patiently. A big thing is early on, people kind of just want to get in and do
cheated as well versus him as well.
Stuff, but the longer the game goes on, the easier it is to fight him. That being said, he still has 50-50s, he's still got amazing mids, still has crazy good keep away, a brilliant character power. Meteor Rifle is still amazing.
Oh yeah.
And his stagger game is still on point. Again, I don't know if he'll be a top character for a long time, but he is always going to be a strong character. And the important thing is that he's always going to be good, right? And that's what you want. You want your characters to be good, and he will always be good. He's well designed in that respect. Two more. Poison Ivy. I don't know much about her because I haven't really seen much of her internationally. However, Big D's Ivy yesterday was sweet. So clean.
I think I want to see more of Ivy. I think she's underplayed at the moment. I think she could be very dangerous. She really seems good in this game. Like, definitely not bottom. She's got good defense. Granted, she's not got a good wake-up attack. She basically has no wake-up attack. However, her ability to put up a brick wall of defense, which we see Dragon do, which we see Big D do, they do it confidently and effectively. But she looks like she's got good jump-ins on the defense. Like, we saw Big D neutral jump on a read a lot, and it always worked out yesterday. Like, I don't know. I think that she's definitely not the absolute weakest character in the game on the defense, purely by her just built-in full screen tools. That
a big thing is meterless launching options, right?
Yeah.
And she can go for that. She can go for hard knockdown, guaranteed the trait. Once her trait starts firing and they sit there and take it, she builds so much bar and it's a massive amount of chip damage. Or she can go in and try.
Did you just say shit damage?
Chip damage.
I'm pretty sure.
If I said shit damage, I meant ship damage. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But her anti-air game isn't that great. Down 2 is disappointingly slow, considering how good it looks on paper, but just in reality isn't that great. She has meter back 3 as an anti-air, it's just meter intensive. But she builds bar quite well, good pressure, good damage. I think, again, we need to see more of her. I like what we've seen so far, but I hope there's more to come.
It's just weird, right? I think we need to see more of the game, but it's strange that a character that has no wake-up seems like they still have very strong defense. You know, you very rarely see that. Like, normally a wake-up is so important, but with her, I don't know. I just see, when I watch Ivy players play Ivy, it looks like they still do a fine job defending regardless. You know, regardless of having no wake-up. They're hard to get in on in the first place. You know, that's the big thing, but I don't know.
So, last character, and this is one that we see less of him every day, Brainiac.
I think, bold claim, Brainiac could be one of the most currently underrepresented characters in the game.
Why?
And he has some of the highest chance to maybe be a breakout character. I seriously think so. I think he is the most unique character in the whole game. He's got loads of range. If you've never fought a Brainiac, he is weird to deal with because he has got meterless damage, doesn't need bar to do damage. He's got setup, but what he demands is that if you play on pad with Brainiac, you need to actually rebind buttons. You know, you actually can't maximize him if you play conventionally on a pad. You need to be able to hold trait at all times. He's not a character any old scrub can pick up, right? So, I don't know. I just look at the tools he's got, and I look at some of his mobility tools, and his range, and some of his damage, and he's got a good wake-up too. I just don't know. I really think that he might be a character that, as time goes on, we might see more of, but he takes a shit ton of effort, and that's why no one's using him.
I don't think he's very good at all.
We are the most divided on Brainiac, actually.
I really don't think he's very good.
So, why do you think he's bad? And I'll maybe try and counter the point.
I think his trait is really easy to counter. The fact that it goes away on hit and block makes it really easy to get
Going away
around.
on block is what makes it a problem, and that is why when we see Brainiac players play, they use the bomber drone
I
instead.
don't think he's hard to block. He's got a lot of, you know, on face value, tricky left to right blocks. When you realise the way the game works is, if you get hit by Brainiac on the left and his drone on the right, you don't have to block both ways to block them both. You just block the direction he's on. So if he goes to the left and shoots a drone to the right, you just block his direction, because even if you are...
But he's not about drone hard to blockables. I think he's about...
But he doesn't have great keep away. His hard to blockables aren't really hard to blockables. His dive kick is quite gimmicky. If you just sit there and patiently wait, you can punish it on meter burn, you can punish it on meterless if you've got the right normal. His meterless damage isn't great outside of having a drone already stopped, which means he's not shooting it at you.
But we factor in Brainiac viability, competitive tier list, a 3 out of 5 character, a character that's going to play small sets.
I just don't know. I don't think he's got what it takes. I would love to be wrong, because I love watching Brainiac. I love watching a good Brainiac player, but I just don't see how he's very good. So you think he's got a lot of potential. I don't think he's very good at all. And I think we're just going to have to disagree.
My final thought on
Agree
Brainiac,
to disagree.
My final thought on Brainiac, I think, is that he has a lot of potential. However, his weaknesses are pretty severe, and a big one is going to be is what would address his safety or lack of safety in a lot of things is if you hold the drone and you release the drone after strings or after moves that are normally unsafe when it feels like they really shouldn't be unsafe for how little you get off them. If you can hold the drone and summon the drone on the end as an extension of whatever unsafe move you've done to make it safe, you've just had to save your trait to do it. If the trait doesn't disappear on block, that'd be fine.
Disappearing on block, I get. Disappearing on hit, I don't.
No. Disappearing on block, I think, is the biggest problem with the trait. However, I really think that there might be one person that has a sick Brainiac and does all this crazy stuff that everyone's like, holy moly, this guy's got tech for days.
So I actually think with that in mind, that brings us to an end of our sort of character rundowns. I know this took quite a while, guys. We spent way longer on
this. Did this take like an hour and a half?
This was like an hour and a half. This took way longer than we initially planned, but you know, I hope you guys in chat have been enjoying it. Hopefully you guys watching this later on YouTube.
Brainiac is a PL character. You can go absolutely crazy with Brainiac.
Let's not forget, and this is the most important point, the game is a month old. The game is like a month and a bit old. This is like A massive game, huge roster of characters, loads potentially to be found that we don't know about. We'll probably watch this video back in about 6 months' time and go, what the fuck were we talking about?
Hey man, this
Look
is
how
early
wrong
impressions.
we were
This
about
is early impressions.
this, that. You know, this is just
in the
early
space
impressions.
in the space of 6 months. We just don't, even without a patch, so much can change.
But I want that to happen. I want to be wrong about everything here.
Yeah?
I want to see people that we've never seen just bring out these crazy underrepresented characters and just destroy people. But speaking of which, I'm going to make a room.
Time for you to do some player matches. I'm going to go to the bathroom and have a drink.
Right, guys, I'm gonna make a lobby. Join. I'm gonna start doing some play match first to threes. Really casual stuff. I just kind of want to sit, kick back, chill out, and just play some games.